Haunted Hill Farms 2025 animatronics have been revealed. Let's take a look. For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and welcome to a video that I did not expect to be making whatsoever, because today we will be talking about the revealed but also sort of leaked Haunted Hill Farm 2025 animatronic lineup. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was about a month ago that we took a look exclusively here on the GMHaunts YouTube channel at Haunted Hill Farms 2025 Back from the Dead collection, which is where they brought back the Korak Monster, Convulsing Nurse, and Gravely Granny, old Tekky design animatronics that they brought back this year for 2025 exclusively as part of the Back from the Dead collection sold at Haunted Hill Farm. And other than that, we really had no idea about further props that would be coming out by Haunted Hill Farm for 2025. Well, today on March 24, 2025, we have some brand new animatronics to take a look at that, like I said, are sort of revealed but also sort of leaked, because it looks like these did come out ahead of time and ahead of what Haunted Hill Farm was planning to release as part of a halfway to Halloween release. It looks like these ones are kind of a little bit ahead of time, so whether you want to call them reveals or leaks, we have some brand new animatronics to take a look at that are being manufactured by Tekky Design and sold at Haunted Hill Farm for 2025. So the animatronic that I'd like to talk about first, I am so excited for. I truly cannot express it, and when I saw these photos for the first time this morning, I quite literally almost fell out of my chair because of how cool this piece is. This is a brand new reskin of the Spirit Halloween 2020 Harvester of Souls animatronic, obviously manufactured by Tekky Design, but this year Haunted Hill Farm is dropping a witch version. This is such an exciting animatronic, and we are finally getting a reskin of the Harvester of Souls, which I am so excited about because he is in my top 10 favorite animatronics of all time, and he was always one that I loved the mech on, and the whole concept of a character taking the soul from another. So I've always been waiting to see that mech be put onto another animatronic, and finally 5 years later in 2025 we are getting a reskin with that same mechanism by Tekky Design, but this time it's for a witch. Now, although this animatronic is a reskin, it actually is quite different from the original Harvester of Souls, as instead of the witch picking up the child, the kid is actually standing on the ground. Also, it's a boy this time instead of a girl. He's kind of already standing on the ground, and instead of her picking the boy up, she kind of leans down forward, and we've heard that the arm holding her spell book also kind of goes out forward with an illuminated green pentagram, which we'll talk about that in just a second, and she leans down and then takes the soul out of the boy's mouth with an awesome fogging effect. We don't have any demo videos for any of these animatronics just yet, but we can gather that from all of the images that we have. So although she is a reskin of Harvester of Souls, the animation is done in a little bit of a different manner. I absolutely adore the look of this witch version of Harvester of Souls, and I'll be completely honest with you, she might be, I know this is absolutely nuts to say, maybe my new all-time favorite Tekky Design animatronic. This is such an incredible piece, and like I said, Harvester of Souls was already in my top 10 favorites of all time, and honestly, I enjoy this character even more than Harvester of Souls, just because I feel like a witch has a lot more of a character and personality than we saw on Harvester of Souls, which was basically just a Grim Reaper, just like a typical Reaper character. This one I feel like has so much personality to it, with the color of the creepy cloth, the cloth that goes around her eyes to make it look like she's blind almost, and then like I said before, I love the look of her spell book with the illuminated green pentagram, which I know not everyone's going to be a huge fan of, as that does start to dabble more in the satanic side of witch witches and more of that black magic sort of thing, which I know not everyone is a huge fan of demonic, satanic animatronics, but personally, I love witches that are more in that niche area of, again, Salem, dark, just satanic witches. So I personally love the fact that Tekky did include a green pentagram on her spellbook. Like I said, no videos for any of these animatronics just yet, and we also don't know what their prices are, so stay tuned as we get closer to whenever Haunted Hill Farm is going to release these animatronics. But again, huge fan of this one, and Tekky really knocked it out of the park with the Witch Harvester reskin. My second favorite from the lineup would have to be the brand new Ice Cream Clown. That's the name of this character, and you'll immediately understand why. He's holding an ice cream cone that has an eyeball on it, hence the name Ice Cream Clown. And obviously, he's also manufactured by Tekky Design. I also really enjoy the look of this one, and I will say that he very much reminds me of Cotton Candy Dan from Spirit last season, 2024. Actually, I don't think you can see him, but Cotton Candy Dan is kind of behind Mutant Legend here. I really like Cotton Candy Dan, and I also really enjoy the look of this character. Two kind of sweet clown animatronics that have some kind of sweet confection. Obviously, Cotton Candy Dan with cotton candy, and now this guy with ice cream. I think they would do really, really well next to each other, and I love the kind of old school clown outfit that he has, that being just like the nice formal pants and then the purple dress shirt. It looks like something that you would see at a carnival with someone selling ice cream, so I like that, and I like the fact that he's not wearing just like polka dots or stripes or something that we normally see on clowns. He's much more of that formal clown that you would see at a carnival selling some ice cream. His head is really interesting as it has an ice cream cone kind of like dug in there, and then it looks like half his face is almost made out of ice cream or has ice cream smeared all over it, which I love the look of. Another one of my favorite things about this piece is how distressed his outfit is, specifically the dress shirt, with just so much ice cream on there. It really looks like someone who was making ice cream and just spilled it all over them. He's an interesting clown, and I think that some people who even don't like clowns may appreciate this guy just because he's much more niche, like I said, where instead of him just being a clown with bright colors, he is supposed to be from a carnival selling some ice cream, and he has that eyeball in his scoops as well. So cool piece from Tekky. I don't know if I'll be picking him up, but like I said, he would definitely go well with Cotton Candy Dan. Next up, we have this new pumpkin groundbreaker piece from Haunted Hill Farm being made by Tekky, and not gonna lie, not a huge personal fan of this one. I like the look of the face, and I think this could be customized to be really good if you distress the outfit, because like I just said with the clown, this is one of those examples where I feel like the outfit is much too clean, and even if you just put some dirt on it or black spray paint or something to make it look like it was distressed, this would look much more organic and really look like a pumpkin that's crawling out of the ground. The animation we've heard is that he will have some mouth movement. He kind of has like those strings inside his mouth to make him look like a pumpkin monster, and then I believe he also lurches forward, which should be interesting. Now, I do know that he's a very large animatronic, standing at 5 feet tall and 7 feet wide, so he is a huge groundbreaker, and I'm sure that he'll be really impressive in person. So obviously, can't go everything off of just the photos, because there are certain things you can't see in photos, like the size of him. That's something you would have to see in person. So again, under distress and kind of making his outfit a lot dirtier, I think this would be a lot cooler of an animatronic, but as is, he's fine, but definitely a large piece. Next up, we have this lurching possessed woman, and I believe the animation on this one will be just a lurching, kind of like a popping forward. Again, it's fine. It's definitely much more of a basic animatronic by Tekky. I like the face on it and the long black hair. Again, I feel like under a little bit more distress with some paint or black spray paint, or maybe even a little tiny bit of blood on the outfit would make this one pop a little bit more, just because it's very just monotone, just one kind of color scheme with the white and black in there. But the face sculpt is definitely a cool one from Tekky, with the big mouth and kind of the white eyes on there. Definitely a Tekky looking animatronic, as there's similarities in the sculpt between the witch that we took a look at, the Witch Harvester of Souls, and then this lurching possessed woman. There'll definitely be an audience for this kind of prop. Obviously, jump scare lurching stuff has always been in Tekky's wheelhouse, so definitely makes sense that they're making this one. And again, it's fine. Not a huge fan of it. Also not a huge hater of it either. It's just kind of a meh animatronic in my personal opinion, but that is the lurching possessed woman. And then finally, we have this really interesting prop by Tekky. This is basically a mausoleum with a door that opens up, and then on the inside there is a reveal of a hanging skeleton. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like this one because the concept is really different, and I love the idea of a full animatronic that comes with a life-size mausoleum. I mean, we've really never seen anything like that, and it does stand at 6.5 feet tall. So it's a legit structure of a mausoleum that comes with the animatronic, and again, that's impressive. We really haven't seen many props that come with a full pre-built structure like this, and it's a much more obviously simple idea, very classic Halloween with just a hanging skeleton on the inside there. And I feel like if you customize the skeleton and maybe even change it to something else, maybe you bought this thing and then just use the mausoleum structure, because I also love that the skull that's on the sculpted on the top there actually lights up. Maybe you could even put something else in there and just make it a mausoleum that swings open and reveals something on the inside. There's a lot of potential with something like this, and again, I feel like if you customize it, you could really end up with an awesome animatronic. So very interesting piece, and one that I would love to see in person, to see the full dimensions of it and see what this one looks like when you're actually standing in front of it. I almost feel like if you got like 3 or 4 of them and then maybe put a different thing on each of them and then put them in a row in your cemetery display, that could be really awesome. So very interesting piece, and that is the brand new mausoleum from Tekky. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. All of the Haunted Hill Farm 2025 Tekky animatronics that have been revealed or leaked, whatever you want to call it. And I am super excited to see these. Like I said, we had no idea that these were coming out. We kind of just thought that the Back from the Dead items would kind of just be it for the Tekky stuff. But turns out they actually do have some exclusive original designs. And I am beyond excited for that witch reskin of Harvester of Souls. That is a peak animatronic in my opinion, and I just cannot wait to get the official demo video for that item. Like I said, we don't currently have videos for any of these things, or the prices, or the release date, so just stay tuned as we get more information on all of these animatronics. But I guess, remember as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I'll see you guys later for more Haunted Hill Farm 2025 videos. Goodbye.